With the beam weapon rework came a significant shift in the game's meta, due to the fact that now many of the weapons in this category are not only viable for endgame or high-level content, they're also quite good at it. The Synapse, the Amprex, the Quanta Vandal, the Atomos, or the Cyanoid Gamma Core are a few examples. One of the things that makes this rework so unique is the fact that many, if not all of these weapons, were previously ostracized, forgotten, and thus almost every single one of them has a very high Riven disposition, something that is bound to change in the future due to the usage these weapons are getting at the moment. Today I want to highlight one of these weapons, not only because I think it's good and reaches further heights when paired with the right Riven, but because I think that not being amongst the best will eventually prevent its disposition downgrade. And that's the Flux Rifle. I'm Deuce, and thanks in advance for watching. Now, the Flux Rifle is a dojo weapon. It can be obtained in the Energy Lab and the manufacturing costs can be a bit steep, especially because it needs 5 fully built field run and a Forma. But cost aside, there are many things this weapon has going for it. First and foremost is its range, which is 30 meters, one of the highest for its subclass. Another feature that serves the Flux Rifle well is the fact that it doesn't need any ammo. With the recent changes, the battery mechanic was introduced for it, and it's pretty amazing, since it regenerates at a 40 ammo per second rate, taking only 1.25 seconds to completely top its 50 round magazine. Many downplay this feature, but in my opinion it can be really helpful, especially when camping, since you don't have to worry about ammunition anymore. Another thing that stands out for the Flux is its fire rate. 12 rounds per second is nothing to scoff at, and yes, this is one of the new standard features that many of the reworked beams have, but almost none of them has it combined with infinite ammo. This high fire rate also helps a lot with the weapon's critical side. With a 10% chance and a 2.0 multiplier, many could think that this is not a crit viable weapon, but in reality the aforementioned fire rate enables critting on a very reliable basis, even with the basic mods. Lastly, the Flux Rifle has a very interesting IPS distribution, being 70% of it slash. Combined with its very good status chance at 24%, the result is a viable hybrid that can create slash procs consistently without the need for hunter munitions. To top it all off enters my Flux Rifle Hexata, which is not the best or anything, but it's pretty good. In this case, no rerolls. I've had it for a long time now, but the state of beams before drove it all the way to the bottom of my priority list, but not anymore, boasting an increase to both status chance plus 135.7% and base damage plus 242.7%. The last one also helps with the scaling of those slash procs as well. Now, if I were to imagine a perfect roll, aside from base damage and status chance, I would also love some critical damage and chance. If there's such a Riven, that's what I consider to be a gut roll. Let's get to the build. Pretty standard hybrid build, pairing viral damage with the slash procs is known to be a very effective combination. Of course, the Flux Rifle has, like most Forgotten Beams, a 5 out of 5 Riven disposition, so the stats on the Riven that I have are nowhere near the best, but the damage increase in conjunction with the status chance turn this weapon into a very reliable hybrid, while bypassing one of its weak spots, which is a somewhat low base damage. Also, the use of vigilante armaments on high fire rate weapons is a very useful tool, not only because it increases multi-shot, but because it also upgrades the level of the critical hits. You might think 5% is pretty low, but in reality, those orange crits caused by the mod are a lot more common. All of this can be achieved with 5 formas, and the reason behind me not using 90% elementals or prime cryo rounds is due to the fact that it offsets the damage composition too much in favor of viral. Now, that can be mitigated by adding Fang Fusillade instead of Vigilante armaments, but this setup is the one that better adjusts to my preferences, so feel free to experiment on your own. It's not that builds are written in stone or anything. But with this setup, 150s are nothing. The amount of slash proc it generates is pretty amazing, and as you can see, the critting, even though not the best, it's pretty consistent. In general lines, the Flux is a very good weapon now, and given the popularity of the Synapse or the Amprex, I'd wager that its disposition will stay pretty high for the foreseeable future, since most people will prioritize the other more popular entries in the Beam subclass. That's why I believe that this weapon is not only a Riven monster today, but it will remain as such. So if you encountered a Flux Rifle Riven on your travels, give it a shot. Set aside some formas, throw it some Kuva, and you'll see, it won't let you down. For my part, this has been all for today. If you enjoyed the video or you found it interesting, please consider giving it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more Warframe content and follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with everything. Again, thank you very much for watching. Wherever you are, have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.